Welcome back to RIPP and a new power series, and today we're talking Hemi. That's right. Today on the dyno we have a 2019 Dodge Charger 57 RT. This one is pretty cool because, well, it's mine. Now, I have had this vehicle 2 years now, and I've done a ton of miles in it. I absolutely love it. Now, I know our 3.6 guys are going to be like, what? But yeah, seriously, our 5.7 guys, right, have been reaching out, right? I guess you 3.6 guys, I don't know. You know, you've been making some excitement here, and it's boiled up, and we've gotten enough emails, enough calls, enough YouTube messages, enough Instagram, DMs like, hey, what about us? And you know what? It's a good fit. We do 5.7 V8, Hemi rather, in our SUVs, right? We do a Dodge Durango and a Cherokee. So those two vehicles have been doing great. We sell a ton of those kits. And we make good power on those, right? They're all-wheel drive. They're easy to install, easy to own. People have owned them for like a decade now. So we've had them since 2014. That's a very long time to have, a line of product. And we're very fortunate that the vehicle line itself has that type of history already, and that we're able to, sort of adapt to the new body styling and components that they put in the vehicle. That said, with the 2 years that we've spent on this Dodge Charger, we've learned a lot. It's a different vehicle from our SUV line. They're geared differently, they're cammed a little differently, their exhausts are definitely different. So there was a lot to learn in the packaging of this engine, because it's not always the same as we've come to learn in our video series on like a Jeep Wrangler with a 3.6 isn't the same as an LX, Charger Challenger 300. The power comes on differently, right? So you have to package it differently. That said, we had a lot of experience with the way the engine moves air, but we wanted to make some bigger power, right? I don't want to say they were late to the party, but there's some kits out there from some great companies, and then there's us, and we took our time because we didn't want to make the same kit as somebody else's, right? What we wanted to do was make a RIPP kit, right? And that means we take our time making sure the things bolt on very easily in a minimalist type way, because that's important to us, right? The car's gotten a little older. You guys have gotten a little smarter. You're putting things on in your own backyard. There's YouTube videos out there, people showing you how to do this, and we've always been that type of kit. So what's in the kit, right? You can see here in this shot, basically the entire engine bay and the entire system installed on the vehicle itself, right? You have, the compressor, an air filter, some pipes that are going in and out, and most importantly, you could see that the coolant tank, that ugly reservoir in the corner there, is actually not there, okay? And that's because we redesigned it. Now, we've seen some of the options that are out there. Some of our competitors, they'll flip the compressor so as not to change that. Other people will put these really ugly tanks, in the middle of the engine bay where you're constantly burning yourself, and it just doesn't look cool when you open it. We wanted to tuck that away, and so that's what we did. We designed our own overflow tank that hides neatly behind the headlight, but you still have access to topping it off and still aerates and carries enough, coolant to cool the vehicle itself. Again, in that 110 dyno passes that we did, we tested in grueling heat to make sure that when you loaded this car on beyond what its limit is, that we'd be able to cool the vehicle off, and there's no issue with the cooling system at all. A lot of you guys are going to center yourself to that air filter back there and going to ask yourself, why didn't you use the area, where the coolant tank was? And believe us, we did. However, to keep the efficiency of that compressor up, when you start looking at the way this engine moves air and wants to build power, which is in the, upper RPMs, you got 2,500 RPM to redline on this vehicle. The compressor has to be able to keep up with the aerobatics of the engine and the way it wants to build that boost. And we don't want to build a boost curve that's under the curve, or, slow and lazy, which is what centrifugals, some people are going to start chatting about, right? At RIPP, we try to do things really, really right. So we match everything to the engine all the way to the tailpipe. So in this setup right here, which made 530 wheel, we have the correct air filter with the correct location, so it charges the impeller properly, builds boost very early on in the RPM range, spins that up through the inlet piping into the 1100 or 1000 CFM 4-inch intercooler that's packaged neatly in here, and out to the 3-inch pipe that feeds the engine. There is no under the curve on this one. This is not acting like, a big turbo on a Supra where you have to wait till, eternity to get power out of it. You're going to hit this thing. Let's say you're driving, 45, 50, 60 miles an hour on the highway, and you get the hit, you got 4 pounds of boost immediately, and then it'll redline to its 8 or 9 pounds of boost, which is what we're packaging it with, okay? That means we pay attention to how fun the vehicle is. You understand? When you buy this, this is a package that you're purchasing to have fun. Yes, power is the goal, but you want to drive and have fun. And that's why I spend so much time driving these vehicles, right? I spend that time making sure that I've got the right size air filter, the right size piping, the right size pulley, the right size injector, so that when I go out there and I hit it, I could start laughing at the guy in my mirror. You know what I mean? And that's where we're about here, right? That hit is really important to me because most of the time, that's where you guys are, right? You see videos of people come out of the hole, fine. Most of those Hellcat guys can't even put the power down, and I know the whine is really cool. We got some options for that as well. But when you're driving a vehicle on a daily and you rely on this vehicle daily, these types of vehicles can actually get better gas mileage with a centrifugal and still benefit from all that power. And that's the wonderful thing about centrifugals. They play a dual role. They're really easy to live with, and they're a lot of fun on the weekends and at night. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the power. Okay, next to me here you see about 3 passes. We've made 82 passes. Actually, we've made a couple more, 85 in testing. But the ones that are important to us are what we are actually going to put the kit out there with. Now, when we tested this vehicle, we want to make sure that you understand what we're showing you. This vehicle is completely stock, unmodified. So stock head, stock cam, stock exhaust manifold, stock cats, with the exception of some resonators that have been cut out so that it sounds Hemi-ish. Just the supercharger has been installed. Yes, this vehicle does have our coils. They were doing some long-term testing, and we do offer a spark plug, which is in this vehicle now from NGK, an Iridium unit that has been gapped down, but that's just for the boost. So what you're seeing here is our supercharger applied to a factory car the way you would drive it right out at a dealer. We could have just slapped on a kit, but that's not what we wanted to do. We wanted to build a RIPP kit. We wanted it to be easy to install, easy to own, easy to maintain, and of course, fun to drive. Lastly, it comes with the aerobatics. So now we've got 3 different pulleys available for this vehicle. This is going to be the standard pulley right here. And this is the one that's making 530 horsepower. And eventually you'll be able to grow into either a larger compressor, which again, all this componentry would stay with the exception of the compressor and the pulley, and probably larger injectors and a larger pump. Think about the now and we think about the future, and that's how all of our systems are actually built, and this one's no different. The 5.7 has proven to be reliable. The kit's proven to be very easy to install. There's a lot of value in it and a lot of fun to live with, so I'm sure you guys are going to have a lot of fun owning it. Thanks, guys.